Let's do the slow-mo hair whip.
Sexy.
And dizzy. Whoa. Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Christina, aka Northwest Reader, and this is my weekly wrap-up. Yay! Just a week, not 2 weeks, for once. I think I had a pretty decent week. I'm gonna add some of the books because I finished a book today that I like to talk about, so I'm gonna just combine it with everything. I finished quite a few books, started quite a few also. I need my Goodreads because I can't remember stuff. So, some of the books I finished. The one that I've been reading for a while now, I finally finished it, and it's Double Vision by Hamlin Bird. I put my physical copy away since I'm done with it. I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. It is a detective kind of story, or like a murder mystery type of thing, where an alcoholic cop tries to figure out this case involving, I think it's like 4 missing teenage boys. It's interesting how the author tells the story, because you know essentially what happened to the boys in the first half of the book, and then you're just with the detective trying to figure out the mystery behind it. I'm trying not to spoil anything. And then the details are revealed about what this supernatural thing, because there's a little bit of supernatural that happens, and then you get more of the story behind the supernatural parts at the end. And I really enjoyed the ending. It was what I was expecting. In the beginning, it's more of a build up. You're building up on the story, and it's such a character-driven story, I believe, in my opinion, because it's very introspective. The main character, Mike, he's the cop, and he has a drinking problem. So a lot of times you're just in his head going through all this stuff because he just had a divorce, and he has this not the best relationship with his teenage son, so he's like kind of going through that. But also in the book you change perspective, so then you go through like the perspective of his son, and just him being a teenager, doing teenager things, and having to, like, you see his perspective on having a distant father that you don't really respect to a certain extent because of his alcoholism and stuff. And it's a very interesting story, and I just really I love dysfunctional families. I love flawed characters, just tragic characters. It's my thing, and I love character-driven stories. So I really enjoyed this book. I could see maybe how this book might not be for some people if they're just wanting instant gratification or instant action, stuff like that, because that is not the case with this one. But like the action scenes, there's like crazy actions, and I don't know, I keep saying like I love this supernatural element of it. I think my only critique for it is probably that I wish there was more just weirdness and supernaturalness, I guess, to it all throughout the story, not just in these certain clumps. It's pretty good. It's a good detective mystery story. I love the elements of the history of the town and this property, this evil I didn't really even tell you. There's also this property of land with a farmhouse, and the stuff happens at, I don't want to spoil anything, but yes, I finished it. I give 4 stars, and thank you so much, Hamlin, for sending it to me. I'm so excited to see what else you come up with, because the author's writing style is beautiful. Like, he's a very good, like, I can't speak. He's very good at writing in a technical aspect, and it just stands out just how well he writes his prose. I don't know how to say it, but it was very good. Completely unrelated to any murder mystery stuff. I wanted to listen to something simple, something light, not take much brain to think about, and I listened to the first book of the Selection series by Kira Cass. I loved it. Oh, I loved it. I gave it 4 stars though, because I believe it's a YA collection and it kind of reads as YA because like nothing, it doesn't get too sexy or anything like that. Like nothing sex related has happened, but I enjoyed the story so much, and it just weirdly, I just kept getting Hunger Games type of weird vibe from it. And I'm sure this came out like right around that time. I don't know, but it's about these girls get picked to be like 35. I think it starts out with these girls get picked to compete with one another to win the throne, to win the possibility of being a princess to the prince of the land or whatever. And there's some weird like there's something weird going on, because like people are ranked in different classes, so that I think that's why it kind of reminds me of like Hunger Games type of thing. Like, yeah, you know what I mean. So, and there's also, it's like a dystopia almost, kind of, or it's ran by, I don't know. There's history involved in this. I kind of was like, okay, whatever, because I don't really care about history stuff. I know, I'm terrible, but I just, the world building stuff, I like, blink out on. I just want to know the romance and some of the drama. But you mostly follow the main character named America. There's like a love triangle, and it's just mindless stuff that I absolutely love to just listen to. And like, no shade to anyone who likes it. I'm not hating it because I like it. But yeah, there's some weird stuff going on with the government and stuff. I don't know yet what's happening, because there's weird stuff like there aren't any holidays, and like a lot of the people don't have computers. I don't know. I'm sure it's going to come out more into the series, but I'm just like, what the heck's going on? So I'm enjoying it, and I'm kind of embarrassed, but I see why people say it's a guilty pleasure, because I liked it in a guilty pleasure type of way. And then I read a short story, and it is called Deep Snow by Justin Montgomery. I gave it 4.5 stars. I actually was on Twitter, I think Saturday night, and I just wanted something, just a short story, something light, something just to read real quick. And actually, I think I follow Justin on Twitter, and he like put up a post about his short story and stuff like that, and I'm like, oh yeah. And then I have bought it, I purchased it a little bit ago, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. So I opened it and I started reading it, and I was into the story. And I don't know what it is with me being drawn to these alcoholic characters, which, okay, universe, cute, I see you, I hear you. But I really enjoyed it. It's like a monster type of story. It's super short. I think it's like 15 pages or something, so I don't want to give hardly anything away. It's about this guy who plows snow for this super small town, and I think it's interesting, like reading especially the beginning, like his thoughts on the self-importance that he has for this type of job. And I don't know, I just like reading his thoughts about that, and I just thought it was interesting. I don't know. You don't ever read stuff like that where, or I don't ever read about characters who are just so, I won't say delusional, but because his job is important to clear the roads and stuff, but he like takes it to another level where he's like, well, if it wasn't for me, people would be on food stamps, and I'm helping the government. I'm just like, whoa, just that whole thought process. So I'm like, that is so interesting as a person, as a character, because you don't really read that type of stuff in the story, or I never have. So I was like, okay, intrigued. I'm intrigued. And yeah, he comes across something, and stuff happens, obviously. I don't want to give anything away, because I went into the story completely not knowing anything other than there's snow, deep snow. But I really enjoyed it. My only critique, I think, is, I mean, it does what it's supposed to do. It tells the story, it leaves a lot, I feel, to the reader's imagination, which I appreciate. And it's just, it wraps it up nicely at the end. It's kind of similar to like Tales of the Crypt type of vibe, where it's like beginning, middle, end, twist, you know, like just a form. It's like in a formula type of thing. I just wanted to know more details about what the character was going up against. That's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to spoil anything. But that's like my only critique, because I just wanted more of that. But again, that's not a bad thing, because it's, like I always say, it's great for if a short story wants me or has me wanting more, then that's a good short story. So obviously I rounded up to 5 stars because, yeah, it was a good job, Justin. And then I am beta reading Oh Pain by Kyle Winkler. I actually finished it today, and I liked it a lot. It was, he's so talented, and I know I feel like I say this about everyone, but just the stories are just mind fucks. Pardon my language, but it's just so, a lot of his stuff is so trippy, and he really, I feel like Kyle really expanded on the different types of horror, because he dabbles into so much stuff, like a lot more weird than I was expecting, a lot more just super trippy, like what the heck is going on? I don't understand what's going on, but I'm loving it type of thing. Okay, so it's hard to say which one I really liked the most, because, okay, the first story, like I don't want to give too much away because like I was just beta reading, but the first story, Bite, it was a good Kickstarter, I feel, to the collection. He did such a phenomenal job. Almost every story had the beginning line of the story be just catch you off guard or like get your interest, because the very first line of Bite is Emily bit her baby. It's not, I know I keep bringing up Chandler Morrison, but it's not that level whatsoever. So don't worry, because I was able to read it, but it like, it made me anxious and unsettled at certain points, because I just didn't know where it was going to go, and I was nervous. And then the ending was like a trip, and I cackled so hard because it was just so ridiculous to just like picture what was happening. And yeah, you just have to read it. And I think the next one, The Slow Work, was just sad and just kind of heartbreaking. And it's pretty much kind of like about suicide, where you don't want to live, so you just fill out this paperwork to unlive yourself, pretty much. And it was kind of beautiful and just sad, and I love sad stuff. Absolutely love sad stuff. I also really enjoyed Last Night with Cicely. That was a trip. I did not understand like where that was going to go whatsoever, and just how it ended and stuff was, wow. God, there's a lot of them. There's a lot. I really enjoyed a lot of, like, all of them. But those were the ones I think, and I think Homebody also stood out. Yes, Homebody was really interesting as well, and just the details in the stories, it just blew me away. Like, I don't want to give anything away, like, whatsoever, because it's just, the stories are a trip, and I had no idea how they were going to end, a lot of them. And a lot of them were endings I would not have expected, or they had events in them where I was just like tripped out completely, like what is going on type of thing. But yeah, whenever it's up, whenever he Kyle puts it up like on Goodreads or something, I can like write an official review for it. It's probably gonna be like a 4-star, I would say, which is not bad by any means. It's just, I just feel like some of the stories kind of went over my head, especially towards the end of the book. I would say it just, like, some things happened. I just was like, wait, what? What's happening? Like, I felt like it was a little too smart for me, because I'm not the smartest person in the world, I don't think. But again, people are gonna like this. You should definitely pick it up when it comes out. I think it comes out in November, I want to say, maybe. But yes, pick it up. It's worth it. Those are the books that I finished and the books I am currently reading. So I'm going to finish Mike Thorne's Darkest Hours. Top priority, #1. Gotta finish it because he gave me his other book of short story collection that I gotta knock out. I am actually reading a physical copy of the Sober Girl Society Handbook, which I just read just a little bit at night before bed. So I'm gonna read that for a while. I'm just reading little bits and pieces here and there, like nothing too serious. This book. Okay, so obviously people are all about weird fiction and TikTok right now, and I'm like, I'm not super big into book talk. I appreciate it. I see why people love it. I just like regular, just TikTok in general. But when there's weird stuff on Goodreads and a lot of people are liking it, it catches my attention. And this caught my attention because people were liking it and the cover looked wild. It kind of looked like the filthy one that I read last time that kind of was like super weird. But I'm like 30% into reading Morning Glory Milking Farm. Wow. That's a story. You follow this younger girl who just got out of college, and she's like in debt. She doesn't want to move back home, so she wants to get an easy job that pays well. And she came across this milking job where you milk minotaurs. And the supply that you collect goes into medical stuff. So it's like medicinal, and they put it into like Viagra and stuff, I think they said. So you're this milking operator and you get paid pretty well and you get tipped sometimes. So you're following her and her experience in it. And right now I'm at the part where she is kind of liking one of the minotaurs. It's such a weird story so far. Like the details of some of the things, I'm like, ugh, gross. And then at the same time, I'm like, that sounds like an easy job though. Heavy on the job. I'm sorry if my lighting gets super dark. It just got dark. It is downpouring right now in Washington, and I am living for it. I just need to make some tea. But anyways, yeah, so I'm reading that. And it's by C.M. Nescosta? I don't know. But definitely weird. I'll give them that. But I love weird. I love the weird so bad. I hate that I love it, but I love it. I also started, I'm about, I think 30% into the audiobook. I'm just going to do audiobook for this series, but The Elite by Kira Cass. I'm going to continue on with the selection series because I want to know what happens. And that says a lot because I don't do series, especially like YA romance or political. Like, this is completely the opposite of everything I like, and I enjoy it because of the drama involved, even though the main character kind of irritates me, but it's expected because it's YA. And I also started, actually last night, The Brother's Curse by Christine M. Germain. Oh my goodness, it's so good. I'm not even kidding. Because, like, a couple weeks ago, I read a little bit of the prologue, and I was like, oh no, we're gonna, like, start, like, in the 1800s, or whenever it was. I don't remember, in the past. And I was just like, oh no, it's gonna get like really into this detail of like what happened. I'm gonna have to remember all this, and I'm just terrible at it, and it's gonna like, I'm gonna be stupid. And no, like I read it, and it's like super brief, and it explains this curse and skinwalkers and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh. And then we go to present date, well, kind of in the future. I think it's 2025. And shit's happening. Like, people are getting massacred, and I love it. I love it. We jump right into the action, and I'm like, yes, Christine, this is what I'm talking about. I like this. Snap, snap, snap. Don't know why I'm snapping, but I'm snapping. And oh, I like it so much. Right now I'm still in the very beginning, but I'm at a crime scene, and I'm probably gonna end up reading somewhere of that today, because I'm super like, it's good. It's good. So yes, I'm reading that. And then last second, I requested from Eden Merchant like 4 short story collection. It's called Damned Hunger. I think it comes out tomorrow. I think 28th. That's what it says. First published September 28th. Anyways, I'm like, I like to support people. And I saw he posted something on Twitter, so I requested it, and he approved. And he sent me a Kindle copy, and oh my goodness, I finished the first 2 stories. The first one, crap, I forget what it's called, but I think it's called The Showdown. They're so short, especially the first one is super short. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's decent. But I definitely like the second one much more. I thought the second one is, pardon my language, is freaking crazy. Because the first story is this guy running from something in the woods. And then the second, which is actually kind of funny because it's kind of similar to Deep Snow now that I think about it. But not. They both had deep snow and stuff. Anyways, but the second story, it's about these 2 little kids, and they're on like a farm, and then they come across this like portal thing, and things occur, and it was so good. Oh my gosh, like whenever the certain scene was happening, I was like, oh my god, don't let this be, don't let this be. And then it was, and I was like, oh no, because I loved it. It was so good. I'm gonna remember that one. And the whole time I was reading it, I could just picture it, and I just was like kind of inspired to want to do some type of scene art. I don't even know what you call it, but oh, it was good. It was good. And this was my first time reading Aiden's work, even though I have pretty much his whole collection, because he was like, here's some free books, and I was like, yes, 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 yes. But this was, if you haven't read any of Aiden Merchant's stuff, I highly recommend reading this just to get a feel of his writing style and stuff. And he has like a really easy writing style, if that makes sense. Very digestible, and I loved it. I'm loving it so far. I'm probably gonna finish it this week for sure, but I'm excited. So yeah, those are the books that I finished and that I'm currently reading. And now let's do a little mini book haul. I hauled just 3 books, which isn't too bad, physical books. But the last week I went to Barnes & Noble, just check out the horror section, because I like to be disappointed by them. It's most of the time it's all Stephen King, but I think because of it being almost the Halloween season, they took most of the King out of the horror section and sprinkled it throughout the store, so that left room for, spoiler alert, that left room for like other horror books. And when I was there, I was so excited to see this book. So excited that I took pictures, I posted it, and I'm just so happy to finally see it in like my Barnes & Noble, because I see it everywhere else, and I'm like, what the heck, guys, come on. And it was here, and I'm just so excited. Things have gotten worse since we last spoke. I love this book. It's like, it's just, I know there's a lot of people that are like very not into the book, and then there's others that are all about it. I'm pretty much all about it. There's only one moment involving a baby where I was not too into. So if I ever reread this, which I'm probably going to, I'm going to skip that section because I felt like it didn't add anything to the story. And it was just very upsetting to read also. But everything other than that part, amazing, phenomenal, love it. But I was so excited to see it there, so I bought a copy because I was given an e-arc. I had to get it. Oh yeah, it's by Eric LaRocca, if you didn't know already. LaRocca. But yes, so excited. So I got that, and then this book, I'm an okay Stephen King fan. Like, I think I think he's a great author, of course, and a good storyteller, but like some of his stuff, it drags for me, and I can't deal with it sometimes. It's just too boring. And I end up skimming or just DNFing because I can't deal with just long-windedness. But I do have quite a few of his books between me and my husband owning his stuff. I mostly have a lot of his newer stuff, but this is obviously a reprint. I got Carrie. I have never read this. I've seen the movie many a times, but I've never read it, and a lot of people seem to like it. I think Well Red Beard is the only person I know that was like not a big fan of it. I think he was listening to the audiobook too, and he was bored with it, which kind of worries me. I'm kind of scared I'm gonna get bored with it, but I'm excited to read this at some point. I really want to read Pet Sematary, but I know there is a certain death in it, and I don't know if I can deal with that because I remember the original Pet Sematary movie, and that traumatized me as a kid. Like, that was so upsetting. And now that I have a 2-year-old, there's no way I can watch it. None. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to watch it again. So, like, I don't think I can read Pet Sematary because of it, because I don't want to cry and just be re-traumatized all over again, and just, like, at another level, now that I know what it's like to be a parent. And but yes, I got Carrie. And my friend on Instagram and on the social medias, Melissa, but they were selling books, and then there was one book that stood out that I've had my eye on from the past, and Melissa said that they weren't into this book. They didn't really care for it. So, and that's why they were selling it. But it's The October Boys by Adam Millard. I mean, from my understanding, it's pretty brutal from what I can remember. I know people talked about it, but people were talking about it and then they weren't talking about it anymore. So, I mean, who knows? I'm going to look into it. But I was excited, and I just wanted to give my monies to Melissa. So those are all the books that I got. I'm excited about. And my store is still open, so you can go and get stuff. How are you doing? What are you reading right now? Are you reading anything? I imagine you're probably reading something spooky, because everyone's reading spooky stuff right now. And then here I am reading the Selection series. Like, who am I? Who am I as a person? I'm spitting. That's who I am. Anyways, thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Thank you for being my friend. Aww. And if you haven't, you should like and subscribe. I'm trying to do weekly videos again, and maybe like on Fridays have like a vlog or a tagged video or something. I need to do something. But yes, thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you later.